All right, guys, let's check out a brand that I don't get on the channel a ton, and that is Marathon. This is the JSAR, Jumbo Search and Rescue. Yeah, Jumbo pretty much sums it up. The Search and Rescue, I get. There are not a ton, but there's some other models of the SAR from Marathon, and I think the entire lineup is awesome. They build crazy good, high quality control watches. This one's obviously a quartz. It's using the ETA F07 quartz movement. There are some variations of the F07, so I'm not 100% sure which one they're using, but quick search on Esslinger shows me that they are about $34 for the quartz movement. So again, like I've mentioned before with quartz watches, worst case scenario, you're going to be able to fix these darn things. It's not that big of a deal. If it's anything more than a battery change, a movement swap really isn't that expensive, and it's not extremely complicated. You can probably do it. If you can't, you can find somebody that will do it for you. But again, like I said, that's a worst case scenario. So what we have here is a big watch. Let's talk about that. 45 millimeter case. That's about the only normal measurement you're going to hear other than the lug width. 55 millimeter lug to lug. Drilled lugs. 55 millimeter lug to lug. I can't wait to do the wrist shot, guys. This is, oddly enough, it actually wears pretty good, but it's a big watch. And then obviously you can see the thickness there, and a lot of that comes from the 6 millimeter, maybe a touch over 6 millimeter bezel. That's a big bezel. 7.25 millimeter in thickness to the flat sapphire coating, or sapphire crystal, excuse me. 22 millimeter lug width. Again, you can see like a few of the other watches that Neil has sent in, he has worn them. This probably destroyed one of the doorknobs in his house. I'm guessing that's probably what happened there, or something. I don't know. But it looks like maybe the watch won because there's really no other damage to it. 22 millimeter lug width, bracelet tapers down to 20. The bracelet on these is additional. So I looked up on Long Island Watch, Mark's authorized dealer. This watch on the rubber strap, his price on Long Island Watch is $760. It's an additional $200 for the bracelet. So you are looking at almost $1,000 piece of jewelry here. Well, very capable jewelry, but has screw links, stamped clasp, 5 micro adjust, fully stamped clasp, and it does have a dive extension, which is a must because this is an actual certified diver watch. 300-meter water resist, screw down crown, really nice action on that. And I mean, it has like all of the ISO certifications, so there's no problem there. 120 click bezel action on this. It's very easy, nice to use. There's, I wouldn't say there's like, I mean, there's a little bit of play on it, but I think that's by design. Once you add pressure to it, I think it kind of pushes everything in place and it stays a little more stable. You can see the date hiding in between the 4 and the 5 there. A little discreet, I mean, because there's a lot of other information going on the dial. So I think that's kind of just tucked away in there. It doesn't really upset any balance here because it is just plastered all over the dial with everything else, I think, so it just works. Let's zoom in and check this out because the dial actually has some dimension. Check out those handset, nice oversized, tons of lume in there. The lume they used on this is spec'd out as called Maraglo. It's M-A-R-A-G-L-O, glow, Maraglo, or Maraglo, I'm not sure. But essentially what the spec is on this lume is you blast it with a charge, whether you be a UV light or a high lumen flashlight, and you're good to go for 8 hours. This thing is going to glow all night long. So much like you would see, you know, a C3X1 or something like that. But the difference here is this is like a certification type thing. You know, they had to run through some certain tests to make sure it's certified to be able to do that. So you can see a nice differentiation of the indices. I like the color, the pop of orange, both on the tip of the seconds hand, hour, minute, but it also ties in identically to the 12 o'clock pip. So it all ties in really nicely. A little bit faded orange color for the 300 meter or 1,000 foot depth rating on the dial. A little bit brighter on the tips of the hands, and then that indice at 12. And all of those indices rise up from the dial just slightly, and then you have that angled chapter ring in there with all the pips, also, you know, identifying the 12 o'clock with the double pip. And then on top of that, I mean, because you have so much space under the crystal, there's like another almost like brushed riad or something. So super, super, like super dome inside there. You could have a, you know, sports arena tucked in there as well, probably. All right, let's zoom back out. I don't know if this comes with all of them, but this little compass thing here was in there too, and you can like clip that on the bracelet or strap or something. But let me pop this guy on the wrist for you here real quick. Don't laugh. It's actually not as heavy as it looks. And if you size the bracelet properly, what I mean is when you have a larger watch case, you wanna, on like my wrist for a 7 1/4, I can still wear this, like, because you size the bracelet so it's a little snug. You don't want it Bruce loose. You want it a little bit snug so it doesn't flop around on you. And you can dial that right in with those 5 micro adjust. You can dial it right in pretty much any wrist size. So this feels fine on my wrist. I mean, if I were to try to pull a sleeve over it, I'm going to have some problems. You know, like if it's a t-shirt sleeve, yeah, sure, you can get it over there. But, you know, if you have something with a cuff, not going to happen. But nonetheless, it's actually a pretty cool watch. And you talk about wrist presence, you know, you can probably, like I said, you can easily defeat other watches if you have to get into a watch battle of sorts. This thing is going to be up for the task. So let's kill the lights. Let's check out that, what did we call it? Mariglow? Mariglow? This thing glows too. Pretty cool. I know that was a little bit of a spoiler. Let's kill the lights. Yeah, it's a torch. I did blast it a little bit with the UV light because that's how it works. I mean, that's what it's intended to do. But check out the glow on that, both on this little compass thing. Very cool. Nice little extra feature you have there. It actually works. Easy to read. But look at the glow on that dial, man. That thing is just going to glow all night long. That is so good. It's super easy to read. I have to be honest with you guys. I've been wearing my Seamaster, and I know you can read it right here, but in the middle of the night, it is difficult for my older, you know, aging eyes to be able to read that skeletonized handset like that on the Omega. You are not going to have that problem with a watch like this where you have, you know, plenty of real estate on the handset for lume. This is going to be easy to read at any time of day or night. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next vid.